It's finally here. It's finally here. We have NFL football. The content's about to get extreme. We're going to be putting a lot of good stuff out there for you guys. But it's prediction time. It's prediction time. So I've already done my prediction video in terms of what the AFC East is going to wind up looking like, right? That came out last week. I do believe that right now, if you had to make me bet on it today, I'd bet on Jets, Dolphins, Bills, Patriots in that order in terms of how the AFC East pans out by season's end.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here we go. We also just watched Xavier Worthy freaking go off as a Kansas City Chief. I can't believe the Buffalo Bills allowed this kid to go to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to, in essence, give them Tyreek Hill, baby Tyreek Hill, Tyreek Hill 2.0. It's just insane to me that we allowed this to happen. And by we, I mean the Buffalo Bills, but I digress. That's a video for a different day. It's NFL football week. We just had our season opener last night. It was awesome. Good game. I think Lamar Jackson definitely could learn to throw the ball a little bit better. You know, it sucks because, like, in that situation, I think at this point we're all sick and tired of seeing the Kansas City Chiefs win. And here I am hoping that the Ravens pull it out and win the game. And then Lamar Jackson proves to us that he's more legs than arm with 2 missed throws that could have won the game. Actually 3 if you want to really hit him up with the Isaiah Likely throw on the back of the, maybe a little too high for Isaiah Likely to have to go up and come back down and stuff. I don't know. 2 passes at least for sure he definitely missed. The wide open one to Zay Flowers. First game's in the books. The Kansas City Chiefs are off to a hot start. They're 1-0. Some help with the refs again, because apparently, you know, they can get false starts. It's just annoying. I guess ultimately the season's here. Today we've got, I think it's going to be the Packers versus the Eagles in Brazil. Good luck to them. Be safe out there. But you know what? Ultimately, this is the Jets channel. We're here to talk about the New York Jets. What does that look like for us for week 1? Listen, we've been talking about this for a while now. I think, you know, as the season got to this point, we can get a more definitive approach as to what we think the New York Jets are going to look like. And it's kicking off against the San Francisco 49ers, the Super Bowl runner-ups, the NFC Champions. I think it's going to be a great measuring stick as to how good this team can be or is. And some people are going to look at it and think to themselves like, oh, so if you think that this means if they win, they're going to the Super Bowl. If they lose, should we all start panicking? There's going to be a measured approach to this, and there's going to be overreactions and some underreactions. I get that. But in terms of game 1, week 1, I do believe it can set the tone as to expectations. I think that seeing how this team plays out, how this team competes with the NFC champs, can go a long way in telling us what we can expect for the remainder of the season. Now, I was on a Thursday, think of it last night, man, and we were talking about you know, what we would like to go ahead and see done. Tyson, you know what I'm saying, talking about play action, taking the deep ball to Xavier Gibson. Then you had Buffalo Jet fan come on there, play action, deep bomb to Garrett Wilson. Listen, I think both plays are genius. I really do. I think that would be something that nobody's really expecting. If the New York Jets come out like that, I think, man, we're in for a treat. I think that's going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to show we've taken a different approach and a different dynamic and really taking advantage of our weapons and our skill sets. Aaron Rodgers can still sling it with the best of them, and I think it'd be unexpected. So I don't know if the Jets are going to see this. Nathaniel Hackett, if you want to make the first play, a bomb downfield to either Xavier Gibson, Garrett Wilson, off of a play action, I think that's genius. I don't think you're going to do it, but I think that would be exciting Maybe if more of us content creators kind of just saying it out there, it'll catch hold, and maybe we'll see something happen. I don't know. But the matchup is going to be a tough one. It really is. We're talking about a New York Jets team that we really haven't seen play together with Aaron Rodgers yet. So we really don't know what to expect when the live bullets start firing. Now, some individuals are going to say, like, well, we saw them in joint practices, right? But again, it's not the same thing. I personally am on team, would have loved to have seen Aaron Rodgers and this offense get a couple of snaps together in the preseason to kind of get, just get a feel for it when the bullets are real, when you could actually get hit, when that's a reality. I think that would have gone a long way in being able to be more of a measure of where they currently stand. But right now, we don't know. We have no idea. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is not going to be thinking about that first hit that he has to absorb. I don't know. I don't know if the timing is going to be on point when you have edge rushers coming in and they're not just going to blow by you. They're literally trying to hit you, right? Like, a lot, to me, still hasn't been answered in terms of where we're at in terms of the full development cycle, right? Again, Aaron Rodgers was talking about being 97% there during one of his press conferences. I haven't heard him since say he's at 100%. So I think in my mind, there's still some fog there, or some uncertainty. Recently, you saw Rich Cimini ask him in the press conference, hey, how's it going to feel getting to that fifth freaking play? And he jokingly responded like, man, I'll look up and smirk a little bit, man, and you guys will probably catch it on camera. So that's telling me, and it's in his mind. It's in his mind, whether it's trusting the Achilles, whether it's trusting himself, whether it's trusting getting hit. It's obviously in his mind. If he can go ahead and jokingly admit that, like, yeah, I'll probably smirk and look up at the camera, once we get to that fifth play. So that's concerning to me. On the other side, you got the 49ers. I mean, this is the team that most people are going to pick to represent the NFC again. Not my pick, but that's what people will most likely pick as the representation for the NFC. I think this is a team that has been molded together for years now, right? Offense, defense, they've been playing together for several years. The continuity's there. You've got a guy like Brock Purdy who's had time with the Brandon Ayuk's, time with Deebo Samuel. You've got Trent Williams. And I'm bringing up these names because, like, Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk, there was a chance they weren't going to be available because they were holding out. Christian McCaffrey, a chance he wasn't going to be available because he was injured. But all of those guys practiced this week. Granted, Christian McCaffrey at a limited capacity because he's still got some soreness on that calf, so that's concerning in that aspect. But Trent Williams got paid the bag. He showed up. Brandon Ayuk got paid the bag. He showed up. They've practiced twice now since this week began. So the whole aspect or hope that we were going to get a more of a diminished 49ers offense, I think, gone, right? Fades away. I think they're going to be complete in the sense of having their components. I think Trent Williams coming back in time was the biggest addition for them. Brandon Ayuk doesn't really scare me. Deebo saying I love our cornerbacks against that matchup. I do, but it was the offensive line, defensive line matchup is where I was really trying to get, the advantage, so to speak. Trent Williams is legit. I think he's the best left tackle in all sports. Guy's 36 years old, man. He's just a force. So they've got their team intact. Let's be honest, man. The 49ers got us beat when it comes to coaching as well. I don't think there's going to be anybody here that thinks or feels that we have an advantage when it comes to coaching. Honestly enough, man, I think we have the advantage on the defensive line, right? I think that I think that they made some switches in terms of individuals on their defensive line that need to go ahead and meld together, get that continuity. That might be a benefit that helps out our offensive line, who I think is going to come in there. If we had to go ahead and go dollar for dollar or pound for pound, I think we do have the better offensive line in this matchup, which is saying a lot. But I think Trent Williams is definitively by far the best left tackle in all of sports. It's going to be a tough one. And I want to sit here and I want to go ahead and give you guys my honest take. I've always told myself, no matter how much of a homer I am as a Jets fan, I think I need to do the best I can to be honest and direct with my takes and my thought processes. And I think it's going to take a little bit. I think it is. You know what I'm saying? And by that, I mean, like, go into that game, getting into a groove. I don't know if the Jets come out swinging and they go for the big play to kind of set the tone, which could, in essence, alter the outcome of the game. But I do think they're going to slow roll it a little bit. I think they're going to go ahead and kind of take their time getting into it. We have to see if the New York Jets have gotten better in like stopping that screen pass. I think the biggest X factor is going to be how our defense does against Christian McCaffrey and against George Kittle. I think Kittle is going to be a factor in this game for the 49ers. I look at the Jets and I think that after Garrett Wilson, we're going to have Mike Williams in a limited capacity. So Salah already said he'd be playing, but he'd be on a snap count. So there's some concerns about that, right? I don't know if we're going to have a Williams we can use at 100%. Or maybe he's just telling that so the defense is not thinking they're going to have to deal with Mike Williams for an entire game. Hopefully that's the case. I don't know if that's the case, but I just look at how much we're asking to overcome it, and I just as much as I would love to be on that the Jets are going 20-0 train, I just don't believe that's going to be our story. It's very, very difficult to get wins in the NFL. Winning on Sunday it's not easy. And granted, we've got Aaron Rodgers, who's a beast in prime time, and who actually has a 6-3 record, I believe it is, against the 49ers in the regular season. So he's proven he can beat this team in the regular season. It gets a little bit more tricky in the playoffs, but again, I digress. I got the Jets losing this game, man. I do. I think week one, our offense has to go ahead and figure it out, put it all together. We've got also some new pieces on our defensive line that's got to go ahead and put it all together. And I think ultimately the continuity aspect that the 49ers are bringing to the table is going to benefit them, especially on offense. I do believe the coaching advantage is going to be a benefit as well. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the New York is just going to go ahead and hold their own in this game. But if I got to tell you, we lose to them in week one just to beat them in the Super Bowl, I don't think any Jets fans will be mad at that. I don't have them going to the Super Bowl, but if the prediction that we got from Hard Knocks last year was ever to become a reality, maybe he just overshot it by a year, right? Maybe it's this year's Super Bowl, Jets versus 49ers. We wind up beating them when it matters most. But in week one of this season, if you look at the continuity aspect of that franchise, if you look at the coaching staff, granted they've been dealing with a lot themselves with the shooting of Pearsall. I hope he's better and I hope he's recovering. They've had some disarray that they had to deal with, on their side. But I just think that ultimately, man, it's going to be a dogfight. And I got to give advantage to their coaching and to their continuity. So because of that advantage, and we're in their house as well, we'll just take a loss. Kick off the season 0-1. 0-1. I think it's going to be a close game. If I had to put a number on it, New York Jets lose this game 24-21. They get us by a field goal in the fourth quarter. 24-21. Yeah, 24-21, San Francisco 49ers. New York Jets kick off the season 0-1, but I do believe they show us enough to where we look at it and we're like, all right, that was the hardest opponent on our schedule. I believe that. I think they're the hardest opponent on our schedule. Kick it off 0-1. We move on to week 2. But yeah, week 1, 24-21. 49ers beat the Jets in their house. The Jets start focusing on week 2. And then I'll be back next week with that prediction. But football's back. And as always, go Jets.
Congratulations, brother. Hey,